Hi, this is Terry. Welcome back to my channel. I swore I wasn't going to say it's been a doozy of a week again.
Don't, Mom.
And yet it's been a doozy of a week. And I imagine I'm not the only one who's feeling overwhelmed, out of sorts, ready to jump in a vat of some alcoholic liquid and just consume until the worries are gone. Fortunately, I have had the privilege of being able to socially distance to help flatten the curve by working from home, even though my 15-year-old Ray
Hello.
has been hanging out in the petri dish that is a high school and coming into the house, and there's only so many Clorox wipes, hand washings that you can do in order to help stave off the COVID-19 virus. And I'm not making light of this at all. In fact, I actually got out of the house for the first time since Monday. I'm recording this on Thursday. And largely because I didn't really need to go out. My husband has essentially been laid off from his job. So he's been the one who's been taking Ray to school, picking Ray up, and running to the grocery store so that we can cook every single day. And I've been, glued to my computer and doing my work. And once again, I feel incredibly privileged to have the opportunity to do so, because I know that there are a lot of people out there who are not able to, or like my husband, are not able to work because businesses are closed. Amenities at places like Facebook are no longer available because people are not going into work. They've been asked to stay home. And it's a crazy time. I'm glad I actually finally got out of the house today after being at home, because I've been reading probably far too much news and following what's going on with the stock market, with what's going on with Russia and the Saudis with regards to the oil crisis or situation, and then also what's going on with COVID-19. My son, who is almost 19 down at San Diego State, has a broken phone, and so we've been trying to figure out what to do as we've gotten new information every single day from San Diego State. His classes will be 100% online starting on Monday, so we will be making the trek down to San Diego on Saturday when this comes out in order to pack his stuff up, check him out, and have him finish the semester here at home. This is truly a freshman year interrupted, and no, I'm not making light of the situation. It's just truly unfortunate that first semester he had a friend die, lost his community with the fraternity, tried to find his footing, didn't really find it, and now he has to come home. The good news is that a number of his friends are coming home, and it'll be interesting to see how this all plays out. I read a quote today. I'm going to go ahead and read it, and this goes back to the idea of privilege. Privilege is when you think something is not a problem because you aren't affected personally. And this goes back to what I was saying earlier. I really strongly feel that I'm truly privileged that I can do what I do remotely, and that others are making it available for me to do virtual calls, doing video calls, and still being able to do the work that I do. And I know that a lot of people aren't, which is why my neighbor Pam and I went down to a local business, Crew, one of my favorite places in Redwood City, to drink some wine, have some nibbles, stay at a distance from other people. I wiped down the surface with Clorox wipes when we sat down, and then also when we left, and I left a big tip. I know that there are a lot of people who are going to suffer financially as a result of this, and I really worry for them. I worry for our healthcare workers, I worry for our overall system. We are not prepared for this. But in being able to work from home, because I've been doing this for a while, I've also seen that a number of people are doing it for the first time, and it's got to be a tough transition. And I have a couple of things that I know that I do well in working from home, and then some things that I don't do well. We'll start with what I don't do well. I don't really have any sort of routines like my friend Jacqueline does. She takes a shower every night before she goes to bed so that she bathes every single day. Well, I think I last bathed like 3 or 4 days ago, and I was wearing the same clothes.
Gross, Mom.
But I think this is a reality of when you're working from home and you're not going out. I mean, I did a video call yesterday, but it was right after a call from 7 to 8 a.m. with some folks in Saudi Arabia, and I went straight into the 8 o'clock, and I didn't have time to put on makeup and brush my hair and get ready for it. I just had to dive right into it. Unfortunately, no one really cared. And if no one really cares and I'm not going outside the house, it's kind of, it's hard to be motivated for me to shift from my yoga pants and my sweatshirt into another set of yoga pants and sweatshirt. But what Jacqueline pointed out is having that routine is really incredibly helpful for her, and that I know for a lot of people who are working from home who are looking for some structure, who are looking for some sense of, I don't know, something to make it feel like it's transitioning from personal life to work life to personal life, because otherwise you find yourself walking around, throwing a load of laundry in, checking what's in the refrigerator, checking out what's going on Netflix, maybe going into the backyard if you have one. And we have 2 dogs right now, Violet, and then we are dog sitting Big Joseph, and just kind of hanging out with them. And you can find yourself a little bit lost, and especially right now with so many distractions with what's going on with the end of the world as we know it. It can be really, really hard. The other thing I was talking about is, like, for me, the last couple of days, I have gotten far too focused on all the negative things that are going on, and I have not socialized enough or spent enough time with other people. Jacqueline, my friend, podcast producer, and marketing person, came over today for a couple of hours, and we talked about how I wanted to define this YouTube channel, what I want to be speaking on at global speaking engagements, and some other stuff. And for 2 solid hours, I didn't think about what was going on in the rest of the world. I didn't worry about my kids. I didn't worry about anything. And it was so good to have a sense of normalcy in doing that work, and also to be pulled out of me being just by myself caught up in focusing too much on social media and the news and everything else.
That's
so
never a good idea.
No, it wasn't. I was in this hole. So this was like a perfect example of why it's so good to not let that happen when you're working from home. Get on the phone with people, get on video calls if you can with people, try to interact and have some sense of normalcy and connection to distract from all the other stuff that's going on. It's really going to be helpful in maintaining your sanity. Or at least it was helpful in maintaining mine, because I feel so much better, and it wasn't just the wine at the wine tasting at Crew tonight, because I didn't drink wine when I was hanging out with Jacqueline this afternoon. I also realized my privilege in that my child Ray is older, and I think right now there's a 70% chance that Ray is going to be working remotely starting sometime this week. So we will have Adam home, because we will be driving down to pick him up on Saturday, today, when this is released, and then we will also have Ray at home. Zeke's not working, so he will be at home. And then I will be at home, locked into the office, trying to find my sense of space and self so I can focus on all the things that I have going on.
I give us at most 48 to 72 hours before we start bouncing off the walls and trying to murder each other.
Okay, well, we have a BevMo right down the street, so I will be covered, and I know that Adam can get pot delivered, so he will be covered. So it's really just you and Dad who are going to be kind of in a bad space. We have to laugh, otherwise we might go insane. So,
I'm going to do both, definitely.
One of the other things that I was trying to do to maintain my sanity this week was get on the mat to do yoga and to do some meditation. And rather than just doing my 5 to 7 minutes of meditation, I tried to bump it up to 10 to 15. And I really did find that was incredibly helpful. So for me, finding a way to exert some energy, whether it's some cardio or some stretching or some meditation, I think that's helping me maintain my sanity. And I think that's also a good idea if you're locked up working from home, especially if this is not something that you're used to doing. So finding some new rhythm or some new cadence and trying to establish some control over that is going to be incredibly helpful as you work through this transition in not only a new change of pace, but then also an incredibly stressful time in the world. I'm lucky that my kids are older, and I know that there are others out there where preschools and middle schools and elementary schools are getting closed down. And so now you're having to struggle and balance all of that. I can't even begin to relate to that. All I can say is I empathize with you, and I wish you the best of luck. I hope that others are accommodating as we are all transitioning into a new way of being, at least for the time being. I have two other things, and then I'm going to go ahead and wrap up so Ray can go ahead and get to bed. You're a little tired, aren't you?
Understatement of the millennia.
Ray is practically falling asleep on the chair next to me.
I don't know what you're talking about. I have so much energy right now. I am so awake.
You should be in this video with me. So one of the other things that I have found is helpful in terms of establishing some sort of discipline or routine is I think there's something called the Pomodoro method where you can...
Oh yeah, that's great.
Where you
Love
can
it.
set a timer for a certain period of time. It's usually like 20 to 25 minutes where you focus on work for those 20 to 25 minutes and then you take a 5-minute break. And during that 5 minutes, you get up, you walk around, you go do something else, get distracted. Don't get lost in the social media hole, and then you get back to it, and then you focus on for another 20 to 25 minutes. And I have found that very helpful in the past. Ray's been using that lately, doing their annotations in the Handmaid's Tale. But that's another method if you're struggling to find discipline to stay focused, because it's really easy to get distracted by other shining objects like squirrel. So the final thing, if there's one kind of positive, if you're working from home and having to do videos, you're going to get used to seeing yourself on video and on screen if you're not already comfortable. And I guarantee that's something that will definitely come in handy in the future. I know that now I honestly just don't care what I look like when I'm on the video.
Yay!
Which was, yesterday for the Startup Garage thing as part of Stanford's Graduate School of Business was a perfect example. I just didn't care. I looked terrible. I'm working on not equating my value and my worth with how I look.
Snaps to that.
Yeah. Although I did, do my hair and makeup to go downtown, but maybe that was so that I'd feel a little less disgusting after 3 or 4 days without changing clothes and bathing. I know, gross,
That's nasty, Mom.
no one was seeing me. The dogs loved me. I was covered with Joseph dog hair, but, who cares? I think that just about covers it, Ray. Anything else?
Not really.
Yeah, it could be all of us in here next time when I record this, if everything's going the way it's going. So in the meantime...
Adam's not going to agree to that.
Well, who knows? I might be able to talk him into it.
I'm not going to agree to that.
People want more of you, Ray.
Dad's not going to agree to that.
Yeah, I don't want that either. So anyway, wash your hands, pay attention to their surfaces. If you sneeze into a napkin or something, throw it away. Wash your hands. And keep your chin up.
Don't touch grody shit on the street.
Well, then there's that too. You shouldn't be touching grody shit on the street anyway.
But, specifically now.
Okay.
It could have lice.
Oh my God. Let's not introduce anything else. Anyway, I think that's it for this week. I'm excited for something new in that we are going to start turning these YouTube videos into MP3s and pushing them out to my podcast, Piloting Your Life, coming very soon. Jacqueline and I talked about that today. So if you are not a YouTube watcher and you like to listen to stuff, then you can listen to it in a podcast on your podcast player of your choice. So until then, thanks for watching, thanks for listening, and please subscribe and make sure that you get notified when new videos come up. And I feel kind of weird about this one, but take some risks. Be careful about those risks that you're taking.
Take some risks, but not some health risks.
Yeah, exactly. Let go of perfection, and above all else, especially right now, have some fun.
And wash your hands.
And wash your hands.